Okay, in this video we're going to cover a front porch, putting vinyl and composite railing up. First thing on this particular job are their existing turned wood columns, which only meet here 27 inches. We want at least 37 to 39 to accommodate the composite 36-inch railing. So what we have to do here is we have to change the actual posts. There are 1, 2, 3 still in place. I already changed one. And what I'll do is I'll show you basically how we're going to change this about, and we'll go through it step by step. So the first thing we got to put in place is our jack. Okay, we have a stick or a 4x4, cut it about 80 inches, which tucks right up underneath that header support load, and that's going to jack that up. So we're going to do that real quick. Okay, we're ready to jack the header. You can see the pole is in place. Now on this particular column, because it is away from the stair rise, which is to the side here, we're going to reposition a new post to go right about here, and then this slot or notch out for the concrete for the post to rest in, we're going to fill that in. And ultimately the idea is to be able to have coverage that comes directly over the riser. If you look on this side, you'll see the same thing. It's substantially steps away. So if I were to put a rail here, somebody can actually trip and fall right through here. That won't pass code. So that one will also be moved over. The corner itself can be embedded the way the other one is without an issue, and I'll show you that. I'll pull the sleeve on that one. Okay, and you can see this one is actually, the original wood post was actually inlaid to the pad. And that's okay because below that it sits right on the block. So you have an anchor plate to support it. There's a center column filled foam fypon style vinyl post. Has an 11 gauge steel post in it, and its rating is about 1,300 pounds. Okay, so we want all composite and vinyl. We don't want anything to rot. Okay, so let's progress with this now. First thing you're going to do is you're going to jack this up very slightly, and you'll hear a lot of noises that you don't normally hear. Don't get too excited about it. It is normal. You have to be able to free the post up and get as much pressure off of that post as possible. And keep in mind, you don't want to jar loose the post that you just installed either. It's got a substantial load on it. So let's work on jacking this post, and then I'll be right back with you. Okay, here's what we found out. The post is jacked. It's very taut because there are above nailers that are installed to it. Sounds like it's solid. If you take a quick look my way, you'll see that there is a gap above it, which means the only thing holding that top in are the nails, so the load is off of that particular member. So now we can cut this directly in half. Pull out the bottom, pull out the top. Okay, just a quick recap. Here's how you know that the post was jacked above. I took a Sawzall, which I recommend using, and cut it in half. So now the bottom can be pulled out as well as the top can be pulled out, and that gives you your free opening. Okay, now we've gotten to that point. We pulled the post out of the concrete for this particular job anyway. Most jobs are surface mount. This is old school construction. I'm just going to clean up the caulk, because like I said, we do want to cover this area with some infill concrete. This way it's not an issue, no trips or anything. New post is going to go right next to it. So now what we're going to do is we're going to measure off. We're going to make sure that you have the right distance on this post, which is 39 inches now from the base to the top. We're going to make sure and modify the bottom of the new post so that reflects 39 inches. Then we'll get an overall length based on the slab. Okay, based on the existing post, we're looking to have from the surface, as you can see here, it's roughly 39 1/4. Got a little wind here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the new post. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut the base of it. Let me put this down for 1 second. And as we cut the base, we want to reflect 39 1/4, which if you look this way, that little pencil mark, a little bit blurry, that shows 39 1/4. So we're going to cut that base off. Then we'll get our overall height from concrete to support and cut the top. Okay, so we cut the post. You can see there's a center tube, which is a load support. It's only an 11 gauge pole, so you don't want to go over really 1,300 pounds. If you take a look at our structure here, it's a simple roof canopy, low pitched, very low weight. Might be around 1,300. And then again, that's for individual pounds per square inch. So we're okay here utilizing this post, and this one is 5 by 5. So typical sawzall with a bimetal blade, you'll cut right through the fypon, okay, right through the foam, right into the pole. That gives you your base. And now what we're going to do is we're going to measure the top. Okay, we're going to measure the top. That's where we're going to stop. I'm hooked on the side of the cladding. That little bit of give, 1/8 inch, will give me the extra that I jacked it up. And you can see on here, your finished concrete is 89 1/4. If you can't see it, that's what I'm telling you. It's a little blurry because I'm up close. 89 1/4 to the slab surface. So we're going to turn this post around. This is the bottom, this is the top. We're going to measure from here all the way down, 89 1/4. Cut it off the same as we did the bottom, and then that's our finished post for install. Okay, back to the posts. Okay, this is our top. Has since been modified. You see it on the ground. There's a plate that I put on the top that comes with it, and that really, technically they want you to screw this in and then put the post kind of up and under it. It's kind of difficult to do to get a nice tight fit. So what I do is I use the cleat there just to keep the pole from digging into the wood member, which would lower the canopy overall. Been doing it that way for about 20 years. It seems to work out fine. Okay, so this is your 89 1/4 pole. Next step, before you go to position your pole, now is the time to put on the skirts. Okay, so you go, just put one on now. That's for your top. Slide it down to give yourself a little bit of room. I'm going one-handed here. Okay, you're going to pull your other one. I'll put the camera down for a minute. Don't know if that's on it or not. Okay. Now that slides that on, so you have your bottom and your top ready to go. Alright, this particular hole cut's kind of irrelevant. We're going to fill it in. So we're going to end up positioning right here over top of the steps in the same square position. So we're going to do that now. Okay, quick recap. There's the old hole. This is where the new post is going to go. And you'll see it's directly overlined with the step at the edge. Okay, so the railing encompasses the top of the step and not the side where somebody could trip and fall through. Alright, if you take a look up real quick, it's in the position. Now this area here will reclad and cover up, so that'll still look very nice. It'll be cleaner metal actually, but what's up there now is pretty dirty. Alright, and then once it's done, you want to gently, and I do mean gently, set your jack down. And what that will do is that'll give you your load. Okay, and there it is. Now you can see the pole came out. Pole gets out of the way so you don't knock yourself in the head, and trust me, you will if you lean it anywhere else. And then this is what you end up with as a finished product here. Okay, keep in mind it is a structural post. It's not going to go anywhere. Okay, slide your sleeves up, and that's the finished look that you have. Now later we'll seal them with a sealant so they don't drop and droop. Down bottom here, same thing. Okay, if we were to measure from here up, we'd end up 39 1/4 inches as we had planned on it. The other area is buy yourself a nice $15 torpedo level. You see the bubble, it's pretty much dead level no matter how you cut it. You do want to make sure you're level first before you try and do anything else. Okay, and then that's it. So now we're going to move on to post number 3 and post number 4. Okay, here's a quick refresher. Okay, jack is in place. And again, when you jack this, go to your last post, give it a wiggle, make sure you haven't over-jacked and loosen that post where it's going to fall on you without you knowing. Okay, and then the same thing. Once you know when you have that gap between the top, you'll probably find nails separate with a sawzall. Pull your top, pull your bottom. It's kind of like pulling a tooth. And then you can get set up to install your new post. Okay, let's take a look at the final job. 4 posts installed. Okay, this is what you want. You want one continuous post. Everything level, nothing sticking out, nothing looking hokey, nothing looking funky. Take your time with it. To double check the center measurement, I ended up with 59.5 between the posts at the bottom. And then on the top part, right before the turn, I had 59.5. So that's how I know I'm level. Now the finished product, you'll see in the next part. This is part 1. It's where we'll mount base post, mitered railing, and sectional railing, and 2 back posts. We'll show you how to do that also. So look for part 2 of the video. And then just so you know, remember we had the little notch outs in the concrete. They're filled in. They can be filled in with anything. You know, you could do bag necks if you want. Wet it, put it in. I prefer for something simple like this. It's already in a container. It's quick setting mortar. It's actually vinyl patch mortar, which will expand a little bit more with the heat, and it'll reduce the stress crack. So, yeah, that takes care of that particular job. You take a look at it from the outside, from the curb side, and you can see already without the railing, really enhances the curb appeal of the property. And again, this property is also up for sale, just so you know. This is done to meet code. And then one more little tidbit on this job. Remember 39.25 inches from the base to the top of the arc? If you were to take your camera, or my camera, sorry, and visualize that down, you should have a steady line directly across all 4 posts, and that gives you the 39.25. So when our 36 railing comes in, we'll be somewhere right around here to look real nice. Okay, check out some of the other videos that we have. Now this is the overall project by myself, because I've been doing this for 27 years, an hour and a half. Okay, you're going to take a little bit longer. This is what you don't do for a living. It's going to take you probably maybe about 45 minutes per post. So give yourself some time. Don't rush. Don't worry about your roof falling in on your head. And again, these columns are only 1,300 pounds. If there's a structural above it, then you have to beef it up to a much heavier post, and you can get them 5,000 or 8,000 pound. You can even get 10 if I'm not mistaken. So the sky is the limit on it, but for this particular application, 1,300 is fine. Thanks for watching. Again, look for part 2 so you can see how the railing goes in, and that's for vinyl composite railing and turn column. Thanks for watching.